Good morning to everyone present. Today, I want to speak to you about something that challenges our pride, shakes our emotions, and tests our patience: disrespect. More importantly, I want to talk about the powerful and transformational act of staying quiet after being disrespected. You see, silence isn't weakness. It isn't surrender. Silence, after disrespect, is one of the greatest demonstrations of inner strength, emotional control, and elevated wisdom. In a world where people are quick to react, eager to argue, and constantly trying to prove themselves right, staying quiet is a revolutionary act. Understanding disrespect. Let's begin with the reality of disrespect. Every one of us, at some point, has faced it. Maybe it came from a colleague, a stranger, a friend, or even a family member. It may have been subtle, a look, a whisper, an exclusion, or it might have been direct, harsh words, public shaming, or betrayal. Disrespect wounds our ego. It hits our pride. It provokes us. And the natural instinct is to react, to shout back, to argue, to retaliate, or to prove the other person wrong. That's what most people do. But what does that reaction really achieve? Does it heal the wound? Does it elevate your value? Does it bring peace? Often, reacting gives more power to the one who disrespected you. It validates their effort to pull you down to their level. The power of silence. Now let's talk about silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of self-respect. When someone disrespects you, and you respond with calm, composed silence, you are making a bold statement. I don't need to respond to your immaturity. I know who I am. I don't need to prove my worth to someone who doesn't see it. That kind of silence is not weakness. It's power. It's discipline. It's wisdom. Silence shows that you are not controlled by others' actions, but by your own principles. It shows you're not reactive, but reflective. It shows you are in charge of your emotions, and that is true power. Why people disrespect? Disrespect is often a reflection of the other person's insecurities, jealousy, or ignorance. People who are unhappy with themselves try to drag others down. They want a reaction because your reaction feeds their ego. But when you don't react, when you stay quiet, you take away their control. You deny them the satisfaction of seeing you disturbed. You remain in your peace while they remain in their noise. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Wisdom from great thinkers. Some of the greatest minds and leaders in history have practiced silence in the face of disrespect. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Buddha taught, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." Martin Luther King Jr. led a movement based on nonviolence and taught the power of dignified silence. These weren't weak people. These were giants. They didn't need to shout to prove their strength. Their silence roared louder than any insult. When silence speaks louder, silence is not emptiness. It carries powerful messages. It says, "I value my peace more than your provocation." It says, "I don't need your approval to know my worth." It says, "I'm not interested in petty arguments. I'm building an empire of self-respect." Silence isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing your battles. And not every battle is worth fighting. Some people are not on your level, not in wisdom, not in emotional maturity, not in values. Why stoop down? As the saying goes, never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. Self-control is a superpower. In the modern world, with social media and constant exposure to judgment, controlling your emotions has become a superpower. Everyone is watching. The way you respond to disrespect speaks volumes about your character. When you respond with anger, you give away your power. But when you control your reaction, you show the world that you are unshakable. Your calmness becomes your crown. Your silence becomes your sword. The benefits of staying quiet after disrespect. Let's break it down even further. What do you gain by staying quiet? 1. Preservation of mental peace. Reacting to disrespect often disturbs your inner peace. You replay the event, regret your words, and carry the weight of the drama. Silence protects you from that emotional baggage. 2. Clarity of thought. When you stay quiet, you give yourself the space to think. You observe, you understand, and you decide your next step with clarity, not chaos. 3. Dignity and maturity. Not reacting shows emotional maturity. It shows that you're above petty games. People respect that. 4. Strategic power. Sometimes, your silence gives you the upper hand. You observe the person, the situation, and you choose your response wisely. You don't shoot in the dark. You aim with precision, if a response is even needed. 5. Stronger relationships. In many relationships, especially family, work, or marriage, reacting impulsively can cause long-term damage. But choosing silence in the moment, followed by a mature discussion later, builds trust and depth. When to speak, when to stay silent. Now, let's clarify an important point. Staying quiet doesn't mean tolerating abuse. It doesn't mean letting people walk over you. It doesn't mean bottling up your emotions forever. There's a difference between reaction and response. Reaction is immediate, emotional, often impulsive. Response is thoughtful, calm, intentional. So stay quiet in the heat of the moment. Let the fire cool. Then, if needed, respond with dignity, with clarity, and with boundaries. Silence is your shield. Response is your sword. Use both wisely. Personal growth through silence. Every time you resist the urge to react to disrespect, you grow. You become stronger. You build emotional muscles. You master yourself. That's the greatest success, mastering yourself. The world is full of people who can't control their emotions. Be the exception. Be the one who remains calm in the storm. Silence, after disrespect, is like planting a seed of wisdom. It may feel hard in the moment, but with time, it grows into a tree of strength, resilience, and inner peace. A message to the disrespected. If you're someone who's been disrespected, maybe recently, maybe often, I want you to know this. You are not defined by someone else's ignorance. You are not lowered by someone else's insults. You are not weak because you chose silence. You are strong. You are focused. You are rising. Let the noise stay behind. The eagle doesn't chase flies. The lion doesn't turn at every bark. You have a mission, a purpose, a destiny. Don't get distracted by every petty insult. Let your success be your voice. Let your growth be your reply. Let your peace be your proof. Practical steps for handling disrespect with silence. Let me leave you with some practical strategies. Pause before reacting. Count to 10. Breathe. Walk away if needed. Let the moment pass. Shift your focus. Don't keep replaying the moment. Focus on your goals, your values, your future. Journal your thoughts. Write down what happened, how you felt, and what you learned. Silence doesn't mean suppression. Express it privately if needed. Talk to a mentor. Seek wisdom, not drama. Discuss with someone mature who can give perspective. Grow yourself. Use the disrespect as fuel. Become better, stronger, smarter. Let it push you to your next level. When you remain calm and composed in the face of disrespect, you don't just preserve your dignity. You rise above the noise and show the world that you are grounded in unshakable self-worth. Every time you choose silence over an emotional outburst, you are training yourself to operate from wisdom rather than impulse. And that habit becomes your greatest strength in every aspect of life. People who seek to provoke you with disrespect are often testing their power over you, but your silence is the ultimate proof that they have none. You don't always need to defend your honor in public because true character defends itself through consistent action and undeniable growth. When someone disrespects you and you respond with poise, you not only surprise them, you silently redefine what strength truly looks like. The loudest voice in a room isn't the most powerful. It's the one who speaks last, speaks less, or sometimes doesn't speak at all and still commands attention. Holding your tongue in the heat of an emotional moment is not weakness. It is the victorious restraint of a warrior who knows that not every battle is worth the scars. When you walk away from disrespect with your peace intact, you've already won a war that the other person doesn't even realize they lost. Your silence after disrespect is a clear signal that you don't derive your value from external validation, but from a place of deep, internal confidence. You do not need to clap back at every insult hurled your way. Sometimes the best revenge is simply glowing up in silence and letting your success echo louder than any words. The power to remain silent is often misunderstood, but those who master it eventually realize they hold a kind of influence that shouting can never achieve. There is a kind of beauty in letting your silence carry the weight of your wisdom, especially when the world expects you to retaliate with noise. People may try to provoke your temper just to justify their narrative about you, but when you remain composed, you dismantle their story with grace. When you refuse to react to disrespect, you are not ignoring it. You are acknowledging it in a way that strips it of its power to control your emotions. Staying quiet in a moment of insult may hurt your pride temporarily, but it builds your long-term legacy of emotional mastery. Every moment you choose peace over pettiness is an investment in your future self, the wiser, calmer, and more focused version of you. Don't let one disrespectful moment from someone else become the reason you act out of character and abandon your higher values. Not every insult deserves an audience, and not every provocation is worth the energy it takes to respond. Choose silence when the noise is beneath you. Your silence confuses your enemies because they expect drama, not dignity, and they don't know how to handle someone who isn't playing their game. While others lose themselves trying to prove their point, you grow stronger by choosing your battles and protecting your peace. You owe no explanation to someone who disrespects you, because your actions, mindset, and purpose are louder than their words will ever be. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, sometimes the most powerful move is choosing not to speak at all. The person who disrespects you is revealing their own brokenness, not defining yours, and your silence gives that revelation space to echo. Responding to disrespect with silence is not bottling your emotions. It's managing them with the discipline of someone who knows what's truly important. Every time you choose silence over drama, you invest in your emotional maturity, your reputation, and your future relationships. True strength isn't measured by how loudly you can fight back, but by how silently you can walk away while maintaining your integrity. You can't always control what people say about you, but you can always control how you react. And your silence is a shield that deflects their negativity. Some people want a reaction from you because your attention is their oxygen, and silence is the only way to starve their fire. As you grow, you'll learn that peace is far more valuable than proving a point, and silence is often the door that leads directly to that peace. Stay quiet after disrespect, not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that your time, energy, and focus are far too precious to waste on anything that doesn't align with your purpose. Let silence make you legendary. In conclusion, I urge you, choose silence, not because you're afraid, but because you are focused. Choose silence, not because you don't know what to say, but because what you could say isn't worth the damage. Choose silence, not to escape the moment, but to rise above it. Let them speak, insult, mock, or doubt, and you stay focused. You stay grounded. You stay quiet, because you're building something greater than their words could ever touch. And one day, the same people who disrespected you will see you shining, and they'll realize they didn't break you. They built you. Stay quiet. Stay powerful. Stay rising. Thank you.